an interesting one. Tell us, Faisal, about Pogba. I don't know what that means.
If I speak about Pogba, I'm gonna take 2-3 hours to talk about him. So I'd rather not. It might be a long stream. They know how much I love him.
Yeah, listen, I love Pogba. I'm really sad with how his career is ending. I feel bad I genuinely feel bad for him. He's someone that I think his biggest mistake was coming back to Man United, and it pains me to say that. He should never have come back. This club is a poison chalice. It really is, and everyone who comes here ends up being ruined. So, yeah, big mistake from him. I know they're just trolling me, Willie, and I'm just trolling them back. It's all good. I've done this every day for 7 years. I'm really good with it. I've got very, very thick skin. I wanted to ask you, before we move on from Man United, I wanted to ask you about Marcus Rashford, because he's a player that's had a lot of stick this year. He's been in awful form. Heads down. His attitude doesn't look right. Do you think this is because he's not really a good player, or is this just someone that's maybe disillusioned with the manager in Man United? Like, where do you stand on the Rashford debate?
I think you guys overrate him too much. And it started from last season when he went under that stretch where he was scoring every single goal, and you guys claimed that he was the best player in the world, or he was the best player in the league, or the best winger, or the Ballon d'Or contender. I don't think I've never been a high Marcus Rashford fan. I think he's a very confidence player. And if you're a confidence player, and if you don't sustain consistency for a long period of time, I don't think you're as good as what you are. I think he fits under the bracket of just under very good player. Is he world class? I don't think he is. Has he ever been world class? Never. But I think he's just been unfortunate with Ten Hag, because Ten Hag has been trying to play him on the left, been trying to play him as a striker, which is not a striker. He's even forced him on the right hand side as well, which he's not a right winger. So it's kind of unfortunate on his part, but I think he needs a new manager, and the moment he gets that confidence back, then you can see a good Marcus Rashford.
I definitely got very hyped last year when he was scoring all them goals. I'm not going to lie, because I like Marcus Rashford. So I like Rashford, and it isn't so much for him, the person, because as I've got older, I don't really care too much for the personality of footballers. I very rarely watch their interviews. I barely follow any of them on social media. I just think I'm an old man. It's not really my thing. But I like how he plays football. It's why I love Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo's a level above, but really direct, runs at goal, cuts. I just enjoy that. But yeah, he's very disillusioned right now. And I almost feel like last year's performances, coupled with the goals, with him now struggling, it's almost like he's letting that eat him up. I'm nowhere near the same amount of goals as last year. I've got to step. And he tries, like yesterday, he did some good things against Wigan. But then there was a number of occasions where just cut a simple ball back across the 6-yard box, will score another goal. Yes, it's an assist and not a goal, but build your confidence up. But he over-tries a dribble, shoots from stupid angles. And it's just a case of you're adding more pressure to yourself every time you do that. But I've got a bit of a hot take on both him and Bruno. I think both him and Bruno, under this new regime and ownership, I think they should both be sacrificial lambs and sold on.
Ooh.
And I'm not someone who's ever really been on their backs too hard, but I almost feel with Man United, there's just faces that it's not that they don't fit. They're like synonymous with our failings, and the fan base is so polarized on. If we remove all those players where everybody's polarized, I think we can create a more harmonious environment. Like, I really do think it's just, if Rashford, say we sack the manager, a new guy comes in and Rashford does well, you don't get universal, oh, good, Rashford's back scoring. You get, what scumbag, he down tools, and people hate on him even more. So if Rashford or Bruno do well, there's about 50% of the Man United fan base who get angrier than when we're actually losing games. And for me, I just feel like that toxicity has got to be removed. You can't make the people stop supporting Man United. So find better players and sell them. Like, I really feel like it's going to be needed to do that to help fix this club. I think we need that big surgery, you know.
I feel like Rashford is. I hear you on Rashford, but Bruno, I think it's harsh. And I don't know why he's such a scapegoat within your fan base. Some of your fan base like him, some of your fan base don't like him. For me, he's been by far, your best player in the last 3 years, and he is so underappreciated and disrespected with your fan base.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that. Again, I'm someone that's a fan of Bruno. I think the criticism of him is absolutely over the top. Maybe this is something that I'm just, as a United fan, looking at the way social media reacts. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it slightly, but the level of disrespect Bruno gets is crazy. The fact that I've heard people say since he's been at Man United, penalties have suddenly become not real goals for the first time in the history of football. I've even heard people say being good at taking corners isn't something to be proud of. I mean, he gets assists, but some of them from free kicks and corners. I've never heard a good set piece taker slagged off. The fact that people say he's not good with the ball, anything with the ball at his feet, he's good at nothing. Yet he's one of the highest chance creators in the world. They don't consider that being good with the ball at his feet. All of that analysis, I think, is completely and utterly wrong. And it's weird. It's absolutely weird. I think a lot of it is because, and it goes back to the Pogba thing. And this is what I've never understood with a lot of United fans. I loved Pogba. I loved Bruno. I was desperate for them to play together. There's a section of United fans who loved Bruno and hated Pogba, and loved Pogba and hated Bruno. And it was like a civil war, and it's never gone away. They just, it's just Pogba's gone, but the people that were on Team Pogba, they've just carried on hating on Bruno. And and that's why I think internally looking, I just feel like as long as we can find adequate replacements, I almost want those old wounds and wars to go away from the club. But again, it might be a bit harsh. It could be a bit harsh.
You might as well, if you're saying Rashford and Bruno, you might as well put Luke Shaw into the mix as well.
Oh, he's another one. He's got to go because he's too injury prone, that guy. Again, he's just, I've not done the maths on it, but that guy spends at least 2 to 3 months every season out. It must, on average anyway, he has, even if you exclude his leg break, that man's never fit. He's never fit at all.
He's got more injuries than assists during his time with United, which paints the picture for you guys.
It's horrendous, bruv. Patrick here says Simeone would lead to win now mentality. Any manager would need to work with at least some percentage of players that will still be here. He'd end up too pragmatic for fans. It killed others like Jose. Do you think it's a myth that Simeone is as pragmatic as people make out?
Very, very, very. People are not looking. And the last 2-3 years, it's been one of the most entertaining Atletico side we've seen. People, they always have that image of Simeone, of him defending Park the Boss Simeone, which was the case in his first 4 or 5 years. But over the past 2 years, Atletico Madrid has scored the most goals and has been one of the most entertaining side. I think this myth needs to stop, and the narrative about Simeone needs to stop now.
I totally agree. Viewers, hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe as well.